Hello crew. Even more Dapper fella here. And welcome to the first ever Christmas special. And oh boy. I planned for this to be a good one. Because we return to Mercs vs Heroes to discuss another matchup to see who is better out of two of the most controversial characters from their respective games. The Pyro from Team Fortress 2. And May. From Overwatch/Overwatch 2. If you want to see how this series works, go check out the first episode between the Scout and Tracer. But without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a glass of milk. Because up first, we have the Pyro. My main and one of the most confusing characters in Team Fortress 2. Seriously, there is very little on this guy or gal. But the lore is for another day. Let's explain what Pyro is good at. And from my experience, he is a wild card with his stock kit. He's good at being on the offense. Being able to clear weaker enemies like spies and scouts decently easy. He is good at base defense, keeping engineers safe as well as acting as a support role for the team. He has a lot less versatility when it comes to game modes compared to someone like Scout, however. Only really excelling at capture the flag and payload. Capture the flag for the reasons explained before. And payload due to his abilities we will explain later. But for now, let's move on to Pyro's in-game stats. Pyro has 175 health, tying with only one class, that being the demo mode, meaning he is at a high middle ground when it comes to health. Having more health than medic, but less health than the soldier. Pyro is also at a middle ground when it comes to his speed, tying with engineer and sniper at a 100% movement speed. Being faster than heavy and soldier, but slower than the medic, spy and obviously scout. Due to Pyro's speed, comboing with one of his abilities actually lets him to pick and choose who he fights, but not as well as someone like Scout. But without further ado, let's discuss Pyro's weaponry. First off, we have the Flamethrower, which unlike most of TF2's stock weapons, has a secondary ability. Holding down the left mouse button will let you use the Flamethrower as you'd think one would work. Spewing fire in front of yourself for a short distance. Up close it does 6.5 to 13 damage a tick, and from its furthest distance does 3.25 to 6.5 damage a tick. But Pyro's Flamethrower, believe it or not, sets people on fire. The afterburn of the Flamethrower does 4 damage a second for 3 to 10 seconds, making it a very scary tool. But alternatively, clicking the right mouse button will let you fire a burst of exhaust, costing more ammo to do. Why is this worth it? Remember how I said Pyro could also be a support? This is where that comes into play. This exhaust, or the air/compression blast as it is called, can reflect almost anything. Rockets. Hell yeah. Pipe bombs. Light work. Even niche projectiles like huntsman arrows or sandman baseballs get reflected. Even flares shot by enemy pyros get reflected. This exhaust can also extinguish your allies, getting rid of afterburn while stealing you in the process. The exhaust can also push enemy players, meaning if you were on a map like Upward, you can send enemies hurtling off of the cliffs and down into the kill zone. It is also a good get off me tool for the same reason. But enough about the Flamethrower. Let's move on to the shotgun, which is self-explanatory. Weapons fired in a spread pattern. It deals a maximum of 90 damage up close, and a max of 32 from far away if all of the pellets connect, which from far away is most unlikely to happen. Then we have the axe, a melee weapon that deals 65 damage per swing. A skilled player could even combo these weapons together in one big, fiery, gory dance of death. But Pyro's stocked weapons have one very obvious flaw. Piss poor range. Fighting a sniper from far away as Pyro would be a definite death sentence. And most snipers would have the brain capacity to go and heal if you tried to whittle them down with your shotgun. Heavy can also be a pain for unskilled Pyros, as fire damage won't cut it for the big Russian bear. Pyro really has only one ability. He's just immune to afterburn from other Pyros. It's pretty handy. Also makes the option of the shotgun more viable. Overall a pretty well-rounded character. Excels at close range combat. sucks at long range lunacy. Now we go on to Mei. Just like Pyro, despite being an offense class, can do a mix of everything. But unlike Pyro, Mei has her own set of skills for how she can pitch in and lead her team to victory. First off, due to one of her abilities, she could be viable on every game mode if used correctly. But as to why we will see in a bit. So let's start with her health. And she sits at a comfortable 300 health, tying with Reaper, with her speed being the box standard 5.5 meters a second. Unless you bunny hop / jump and run. But speed isn't what you're aiming for. Mei's weapon is a very useful one. The endothermic blaster, which should be awarded points for a cool weapon name if that was an actual category, which just like Pyro's flamethrower has 2 firing modes. The first being a short-ranged Arctic blast which is used for racking up the damage up close. This does 5.5 damage a tick as well as being able to slow down enemies. It's alright, but what you really want to do is use the right click, as that'll shoot a fast-moving, single projectile icicle that is great at long ranged. The icicle does a whopping 85 damage, with double damage on a headshot, essentially turning Mei into a mini sniper if you're skilled with her. Although this shot, just like Pyro's exhaust blast, costs more ammo. Using 10 out of your 140 ammo mag to fire the icicle, it is worth the extra ammo cost however due to the utility of long ranged option in combat. And with this we can move on to Mei's really useful abilities. The first of which is called Cryo Freeze, which encases you in a big block of ice. Whilst in this block, enemies can't hurt you whatsoever, all of your status effects are cleared, and you heal whilst inside. But, whilst in the ice, you cannot move, use other abilities, or even attack, basically making you a turtle. This provides Mei with an option to pick and choose fights, being able to get in there, deal a bit of damage, and run off to heal if necessary. Overall an excellent ability. The ice block does have a 12-second recharge however, which is quite unfair for people fighting a skilled Mei, as 12 seconds isn't that long in the grand scheme of things. But enough about the block. And onto the block. With the Ice Wall ability. Summoning a big wall of ice. The wall has 250 health and will break after 5 seconds. The wall could prevent an enemy push for a short bit of time, as well as trap opponents with you for you to get the beat down on. The wall can be placed closer or further away from you, but only at a max distance of 25 meters from you. However, just because the enemies can't shoot through the wall, doesn't mean that it's not the same for you. As you and your teammates can't shoot through the wall either. It's a wall, not a one-way mirror. Some ultimates are also capable of breaking walls instantly, such as Lifeweaver's Tree of Life. So be careful for that. Anyways, let's move on to the final topic before the verdict. Mei's ultimate. The Blizzard. Blizzard has Mei throw out a drone, whose name is Snowball, to create a damaging zone that lasts for 4.25 seconds. This zone slows down enemies by 50% at the start, before dropping to 25%, before amping up at a maximum of 75%. Enemies that linger in this zone will be debuffed with freezing for 2.25 seconds. The freezing can be sped up and extended if Mei uses her short-ranged Arctic Blast whilst an opponent is in the Blizzard. The Blizzard does 20 damage a second, 85 damage throughout the duration, just as much as an icicle shot. The Blizzard also pierces through barriers and other ice walls. Right. That is both of the characters discussed. Now, I'd say it's time to give my verdict on who wins Mercs vs Heroes Christmas Special. Drumroll please. And the ice snuffs out Pyro's tyrannical fire, because Mei is the winner. Now before you TF2 fans start going ballistic all because Pyro Cynical's most searched character on the hub didn't win, let me explain why Mei wins. First off, Mei has a long-ranged option to deal with far-away foes, and one of Pyro's biggest disadvantages is his limited range. Another is Pyro's lack of a consistent way to keep teammates safe outside of his exhaust blast, as it requires 20 ammo out of Pyro's 200 mag flamethrower to use. If Pyro runs out of ammo during a fight and doesn't have access to more, you're done. whilst Pyro has the advantage in an all-out close range defense. Meg can do that as well as prevent enemy attacks, keep her own team safe from harm, and single out enemies all with one ability. Pyro only has his immunity to afterburn to speak of, if to speak of anything at all outside of his mumbling. But those are my thoughts. Share yours in the comments. And have a Merry Christmas. Spend time with friends, family, and don't forget about your presents. Have a merry day for me, pal.